Uh-oh. Happy Monday. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Mark Evans, DM here, coming to you live from Parkland, Florida, soon to be Ohio. In the next 4 weeks or so, we'll be back up in Ohio, right, Mark? You excited for Ohio?
Yeah, I like Ohio.
You like Ohio? All right, cool. If he likes it, stamp of approval. Anyways, as you guys are coming on, thank you very much for being here. Thank you, Dan. Guys, if you would, give me your name, city, and state. Let me know where you guys are from. Hope you guys are excited. Monday's a big day. I always love Mondays. I love every day, but I don't love them. I just might as well decide to love them because it's going to happen no matter what, with or without us. So make the most of what we can, right? So as I'm sitting here today, I want to talk to you guys about a couple things about the stimulus check stuff. I'm not really too hip on what's going on, but I do hear like people chiming in like, hey, I might get another check, this and that, which is insane to me. But we'll talk about that here today. And hopefully you guys have some comments. I'd love for Beacon to give you guys how to jump on here and comment. If you're here to chat, love to talk to you one-on-one here. Well, in a group setting here, I guess I should say. But I appreciate you guys being here. It's been a crazy week. Saturday, I got to be able to hang out on a boat for a while, all day with my fam, which is always good to reconnect, hang out. Dree is getting better. Thank you guys for all the messages going back and forth. Thank you guys very much. She got 10 stitches in her leg, if you remember right. Glass bottle fell and cut her leg pretty bad. So she's doing well, healing properly, and we'll have a scar for life, which would be a cool battle one to talk about one day. Mark is doing amazing. Yeah, Beacon? Beacon?
Quick side note. StreamYard just made a notification saying anybody that's tuning in on your profile on Facebook we will not be able to see the comments. I don't know when they're going to fix that. They just made that today. So if you want to comment, be sure to go to Mark Evan DM page, the group page. We will be able to see all comments there, not his personal profile. Oh, and we got or YouTube.
What's up, Dom? Thank you for being here, buddy. Okay, well that's too bad. But anyways, you guys are here. That's where most of my comments come from, is my personal page. As I got my son here on my back, crawling around. This is pretty much a day in the life over here with this monkey acting crazy, being silly, right, bud? Are you a monkey or alligator? Just a boy. All right, cool. So let's talk about real talk about the stimulus check thing. As you guys know, probably one of the biggest things I want to share with you guys is the stimulus check. First of all, there's never anything for free. Let's be very clear about this. This is money they're sending back. This is coming from somewhere. You know what I mean? So I just want you to understand that at the end of the day, if you're sitting back, Mark, I need you to calm down, bud. I'm very serious, okay? I want you guys to understand is like when you're saying, hey, I want a $1,200 check and I'm excited, like, again, I talk about king of the dipshits. I know I'm bouncing around here because I'm trying to collect my thoughts here because that's what happens when you get sidetracked. Is king of the dipshits sit around and talk about how quickly they got paid their $1,200. That's a real talk. Like, you shouldn't be proud of getting $1,200. That means you're not making any money or much money at all. Now, listen, if you need it, that's a different story. But the problem is you need it. That's the issue. That's the real issue. Straight up, that's the real problem. If you need the money, it's because you're not taking your life serious. You're not investing in your brain. You're not investing in learning how money works. You're not learning how to get out of the way of being. This is a handout, by the way. This is not a hand up. This is a handout to you. And you got to get real serious about this because this is going to cause problems in the future. See, I'm very afraid of people that like handouts. It scares me. The government's been doing this in Section 8. Assisted and all this stuff, all these assistants. And again, there's a certain time and place for it. But the problem is when people are on it forever. Not just people, but families. Like, I'm talking them, their kids' kids, etc. Like, what changes? Who's going to change it in your bloodline, your family tree line? Who's going to change the way money is handled? Who's going to change the way money is invested? Who's going to change the way you buy things instead of being a consumer just to buy to be cool, but you're buying to invest. You're investing to invest, I should say. You know the difference with an asset and a liability, right? It's oftentimes people see me hop on the yacht and they're like, oh my God, that's $150,000 for a week. That's a lot of money. Well, if you see it as a consumable, you might be right, but it's all relative at the end of the day too, right? Not only that, you don't know what's going on the other side with me turning liabilities into assets. I know how to do that. For example, in that case, like I oftentimes invite people to come on the yacht with me. They pay a fee. And then the goal is how do you get on the yacht for free for me and my family? So you might be thinking it costs 150. I might have raised 150 to get people on there with me, and then we all collectively learn and grow and expand. It's a very powerful way to turn a liability into an asset. I've done this with private jets. I've done this with houses. I've done this with all kinds of things. So, but again, I'm not looking for handouts. I actually am embarrassed by handouts. I'm so I think it's embarrassing. Here's the biggest problem with the stimulus check stuff and kind of my mindset about it. If I asked most people watching this, hey, what happened in, this Michael Jordan show that's out and all that, it's pretty embarrassing that you know more of the stats about his life than you do your own bank account. It's pretty embarrassing. I'd be embarrassed. It's pretty embarrassing if you're big into football, baseball, basketball, whatever sport you're into. How embarrassing is it to know more about an athlete that means nothing to you, absolutely dick to you for your financial future? And yet you're bragging about a stimulus check and you're complaining fantasy sports is not around right now. As a growing person, adult, you should be the most embarrassed person under the moon. It's embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing. You know more about stats on an individual that don't even know your name. Why your kids don't get to have the life that you could give them. Why you are not changing the trajectory of your life because you're too consumed with stuff that will never mean anything to anybody at all. Zilch. You should be embarrassed. It's the king of the dipshits at the highest level. Like, in all seriousness, this is why I don't watch sports really. I mean, I might, if I'm at a house and someone has it on, I'll watch it. I have zero clue what anybody's doing. I have zero clue what their pass ratios are, catch ratios, touchdown, who's winning. I went to the Super Bowl. I didn't know who was going to the Super Bowl. I did it for an experience, just for the experience, not necessarily for the individuals. The only individual I care about is me and my wife. That's it. We wanted to have an experience at the Super Bowl. Did that with the World Series. Swear on my life, I went to the World Series and the Super Bowl and not knowing who was going to either one. I just knew where they were at. Right? In Cleveland, I knew Cleveland was there, but I didn't know who they were even playing. I don't even know who they played, and I was there. Because I went there for the experience to, meet, connect, have the fun, the excitement. And yet, why a growing person sits back and literally is bragging about they have more points than, Tom, Dick, and Harry down the street on their fantasy whatever, and yet they can't pay their bills. Don't you think there's a bigger problem? Don't you see by the way, if you don't see the problem, that's the problem. Like if you're big into soccer and you know who's the winning scoring and what their salary caps are and what they drive, where they live, what they do and how they do it, blah, blah, blah. You know everything about them, but yet you can't pay your bills and you're excited about a $1,200 stimulus check. You should be embarrassed. Maybe I'm different. Maybe I just think, it's not cool to get a handout check. $1,200, by the way, ain't changing the game for anybody at all. It's to appease you. It's to make you feel like you got something in return. Now they own you. They own your mind. Then you're like this everywhere you go. If they give you more, they own you even more. You guys realize this, right? Your problem's way bigger than a $1,200 stimulus check. Dan Z said, hey, I've been talking about this during this whole pandemic or scamdemic. This is the time to change your mindset and vision. When you chase free, it's not just now, it's forever. What's up, Rob? Good morning, good morning. What's up, Mike? Let's fire it up. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on this. I'm embarrassed by how everyone's out there bragging. Like literally, if you are on my Facebook walls or any walls that I have control where I can undo you, as soon as I see you bragging about getting $1,200 and how happy you are never my friend again. It's embarrassing, right? Right, Dylan? Yep, could care less about sports, worry about your own life. Like, I don't understand. I saw this guy post this today, Zach, which is awesome. He's a cool guy out of Puerto Rico. He's doing some big stuff. But this is a pretty good thing. He said, you got to be a bold MFer to wake up broke and to continue to lay there. You got to be bold. Let me say it again. You got to be a bold MFer to wake up broke and continue to lay there. It's bold. It's embarrassing. The problem is bigger than the $1,200 stimulus check. The problem is bigger than what's going on in fantasy sports. No one cares. Do you realize the only people that get excited about fantasy sports are the guys that own the apps that you guys are playing on that's getting rich because of you guys? And you're actually, I don't even know how it all works, but I think there's like a pool or whatever, and you can get money. And then if you like give them 10,000 hours of your time, and you could possibly win $100 or bragging rights or both, whatever it is. They want you to be that in their app because that's how they make money. And you buy into it. Now listen, if you have all your shit dialed in and you're making wealth, creating wealth, and you're giving back at a high level and all that, keep doing it. Keep doing it. I don't personally know one person that's crushing the game of life that's playing that shit. I don't know one, except the owners of those sites. I don't know one. Do you? One person out of millions of people. I'm talking, they have their shit dialed in. They know exactly where the money's going, how it's being made, and their household income. They understand about ROARSs when they're spending money on their advertising. They understand, hey, when I buy this, I'm paying down my equity down this. I've got my interest rate here. This is what I'm doing. This is how I'm growing. Hey, I have my UAL policy set up for guaranteed retirement income in the next 22 years because I'm preparing today for the future. Don't lie. You don't have any of that shit set up. Don't lie. And you're not even lying to me or anybody else. You're lying to yourself. Your future self. You know it's true. But yet, pay attention to the people you're following. If they're your mentor and they're talking about receiving stimulus checks, they're broke just like you. Don't follow them. There's nothing they can give you to help you become rich because they're not rich, clearly. You guys understand what people talk about is very important. If someone walked in my house ever that I'm doing business with and talked about getting a stimulus check, I'm not doing business with them. They might be nice, they might be cool, but I can't do anything with them because I'm not there to grow them. They got to grow themselves. I don't allow that stuff in my life. Like $1,200. Listen, what did you do with the $1,200 when you got it? What do you do with it? What do you do with the $1,200 when you get it? I would like to know. I'm getting messages here, Beacon, on my Facebook thing. People are messaging over there. So, Lighton says, I agree, Mark Evans. Keep shifting paradigms. Tony, let's go. Preach, teach, and influence the now generation. Poverty mindset, got to fix that first. We live in the best country in the world with lost opportunity, and people are taking free money. It's terrible. Oh, yeah, tell them, as a man thinketh, so is he, and as he continue to think, so he remains. Buy your book, Callan. Thank you, buddy. Guys, we got a lot of people here. But again, why, I go back to the sports thing all the time because people are like, dude, what do you do? Like so-and-so sports. I always say when I'm from Ohio, oh, man, you must be a huge Buckeye fan. I have no clue what they're doing. Are they a huge fan of mine? Listen, what are you escaping? Reality? Well, maybe you should probably not escape reality until you figure out reality. And that's what's going on with COVID. I love it. A lot of people are having reality moments. Like, oh, shit, I don't have anything to talk about that has any substance. I probably should start working on myself and getting a little bit smarter. And I'm not saying you have to figure all this out overnight, clearly. But what I'm saying is you got to be thinking about this kind of stuff. If people are bragging about getting $1,200, they're not the people you want to roll with. Straight up. Eat stuff. I don't know what that means. But what are you escaping? Seriously, what are you escaping? The reality that you're broke? The reality you have no effing clue what you're doing? The reality you actually might have to ask for help? Do you understand how much power comes in asking for help? I don't know everything. I don't know much of anything. I know I'm embarrassed if I took $1,200. I do know that. I do know that I don't know much at all, but I do know how to do deals and make money. Making money, by the way, doesn't mean you know how to keep it, preserve it, grow it, steward it, right? These are different muscles. Not everyone is the same. No one says we're all the same. Clearly, based off of your picture, you're taking the $1,200 stimulus check. I know it sounds like a dick move. It's the truth, though. And the truth often will always set you free. I don't think people care anymore. Care about what? I don't think about other people anyways. Why do we have to think about what others are thinking about? We clearly know they don't know how to think. So why think on stupid thoughts? You ever think about that? Guys, again, this all comes with thought auditing and understanding where you really are. A lot of times people say stuff like I said, when I'm communicating with people, you think it was bad to take the check? The answer is fuck yes, I do. Unless you absolutely need it. The problem is if you need it, take it. But then the next question is, what are you going to do with it? There's a reason you had to take it in the first place because you don't know how to deal with money. If you did, you'd have it. You wouldn't need it. Does that make sense? That's the whole purpose of the conversation. It's interesting. A lot of the people from Periscope are saying these things, right? So, but anyways, you have to realize that you are the only one that can control this stuff. And when you start thought auditing, like when people are coming to me, I have many companies, many staff members, many people I'm working with 24/7. And I'm telling you, when I'm communicating, it's very direct. Let's go, boom. And then they're like, well, I don't need to understand. You don't even understand. Why do I need to? I don't need to understand what you don't understand. Well, you sound like a dick. Okay, I don't care what I sound like. It's not. That's what you heard because you didn't come prepared. There's a difference. See, the thing is if you truly understand the power and what you're worth to yourself, you wouldn't be playing lax. You wouldn't be playing video games. You wouldn't be sitting around doing whatever you do and not have any money in the bank. There's so much to do. There's so many opportunities to generate revenue. It's endless. And I'm not saying it doesn't take work. You'd have to get your ass off the couch, take your headphones off playing Call of Duty or whatever people play and go to work. But what else? Why wouldn't you? I'm embarrassed when I see a grown man that knows more about sports, that have 2 children, that love them to death, that will literally do anything and watch and does everything that they do. And while you sit there and talk with all your buddies, eating wings, drinking beer, how cool you are, and about, fantasy football, and your kids are like, but Dad, Mom and you fight every day about money, and we can't even barely eat food today, and what are we doing? Don't you understand they're going to call BS on you eventually? Like, that alone would drive me to stop being a pussy and go do something. Like, how could you look at your spouse, and I'm talking husband or wife, either or, but how could you, I'm a guy, so I'm clearly talking to guys, but like, how could you look at your spouse, and I've talked about this all the time, and look at your wife and say, hey, go to work, have a good day. I'll be here playing video games. Hey, go to work. I'm working on my fantasy football factor. I'm going to win it this year. By the way, pick up some food on the way home. It literally makes zero sense to me. Sometimes we are prisoners of our own mind. We can't see opportunities and we don't know what to do. Victoria, I hear what you're saying. I don't believe it. Because if that question happens, you're not a prisoner. We know how to think. We know how to go to Google. You guys are going to Google anyways. Google didn't happen by accident. People are Googling shit all the time. Problem is, what are they Googling? How to gamify the, whatever video game exists. How to, who's the top pick for my fantasy football league. It's embarrassing. And I'm sad by it. Because I see amazing men and women that and I'm talking smart people that have massive degrees that can barely pay their bills. But yet they know everything about fantasy football. They know when this new show's coming out on TV. They can't wait to plop their ass down on the couch and watch whatever and eat what they shouldn't eat and all this stuff. But yet I got my $1,200. What are you going to do with the $1,200? That's the question. Because this is a time that you can get the $1,200 and invest in yourself, because you've never had any money anyways, and you work really hard, and it's clearly not you. It's the system's rigged, right? That's called being a victim, by the way, if you talk like that. No, it's like you gotta change. It's hard to change. You gotta have the conversations with yourself that are uncomfortable, like, why are you being a loser? How do you step your game up? How do you be a better provider? What does my ideal life look like? Who do I really care about? Do you really care about when you post something on IG if you get 100 likes or 5 million likes? It's not affecting your life in any way, shape, or form. But it does bother you. Oh, man. Like when I post good stuff and I get a little bit of less comments than if I post pictures of something weird, it's just what happens, guys. But back to this check. What are you going to do with it? I hope not buy a new cell phone. I hope not buy video games. I hope not buy new shoes. I hope not buy, it's a gift. It's a gift to you, and treat it as so. I'd be buying books about money management. I'd be buying books about how to build a business. I'd be going on YouTube and learning about YouTube video. This is the time. You're either going to come out of this looking like you're going to be strong and huge as hell in business and in life, or literally you're going to be so far behind the 8 ball, you might as well just tap out. You might as well just tap out and just accept the shitty life that you created for yourself. No one created it for you. You did. You're an adult now. You can't use what other people's done to you as an excuse anymore. And I think the problem is too many people have lied to you saying it's okay to be a loser. It's not okay. It's not okay to be a loser. It's never acceptable. It's not acceptable. Why would you even think it's acceptable? Right? And I think we have a duty, if we even know this is a real conversation, which it is, When people start talking nonsense, you have to check them. You have to say, yo, dude, you're 47 years old. What the hell are you talking about? You said the same thing when you're 21, 27, 28, 32, 41, 46, and you're saying the same shit now? Like the common theme in this BS conversation you're having is you, my man. It's not the way to make friends. It's the way to help people, though. Another problem is ability to focus, Victoria says. I don't know. Focus on what? Do you have suggestions on specifically what books or resources to buy? What industry do you recommend? Listen, Prima, there's lots of great books. I talk about them all the time. You know, The Magic of Thinking Big, Psycho-Cybernetics, Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Those are mindset books. In regards to industry, there's all types of industries, but mine would be more on the e-com side just because it's so big. It's massive. But the guy Ryan Moran wrote a great book called 12 Months to $1 Million. It's a no-brainer book. It works. He's done it. Many people's done it. Follow it. It's going to be a lot of hard work, a lot of late nights, a lot of dry heaving, a lot of pushing and prodding, but you will get to the $1 million if you follow the plan and beyond. But most people won't do it. Focus on business opportunities. I don't have that problem. I know a lot. Listen, focus is a problem in general. That's called procrastination. How can't you focus on business opportunities? Are you saying you have too many or not enough? I have many different ideas, but no focus. So you don't have, focus isn't your problem. Making a decision is. You have all these ideas, you got to do something with them. Focus is not your problem. Making a decision is. Focus is the outcome of a decision. I don't have that problem. Dude, when I decide, you have to do. Period. Right? I don't have the problem. I have, you can ask anybody that works with me. They're like, dude, I have this best idea. I'm like, I don't need ideas. I need implementation of an idea. I have enough ideas to serve 500 people a day. I don't need ideas. I need execution of ideas, period. Pick one, Victoria, and run with it. Get serious about it. Like literally, you're acting like you're going to live forever. You have all these amazing ideas and the world's never going to see them. How dare you? You're a fucking thief to yourself and the world. That's how I talk to myself, by the way. Like you're a thief if you have all these amazing ideas and you do nothing with them. Keep doing it. It's serving nobody. Right? Like that's the thought process in my brain. People always want to know, like, Mark, what do you think? That's the stuff I think about, dude. I woke up this morning at 4 o'clock massively anxious. Like I have a lot to do today, a lot. Probably more today to do than most people watching this in a month. Like a lot, but it will get done. It's got to. Why? Because I committed to do it. And I'm not stealing from myself and my future. Listen, everybody thinks all this stuff's easy, and it's simple, but not easy. There's a lot of moving parts. We're plugging here, we're pushing here, we're prodding there, we're driving here, we're missing that, we're pushing here. Oh, this is a huge one. Oh, this is a massive loss. Oh, this is going on in 3 hours. It's never ending. And then you got to figure out the balance. You got to figure out, everyone talks about work-life balance, dude. It's not necessarily work-life balance for me. It's more like work-life priorities. Priorities create balance, right? Prima, for me, it's definitely, I think it's indecisiveness. I'm a certified health coach, and I've been researching real estate investing for a year. I can't decide which one to do because I don't know which one will work fastest. Well, first of all, none work faster than the other. One might work better than the other, but that doesn't mean it's better or worse or faster or slower. Pick the one. Why go into something new? The grass is not always greener on the other side. Not only that, I'd ask a different question. What are you trying to accomplish in 12 months? That's the question I would ask Prima. What are you trying to accomplish in 12 months? I know a lady in the health coach industry, she generates $18 million a year. I know a lot of real estate investors that don't make $100,000 a year. So, hey, I want to do real estate, but my market is too competitive. I tried to do deals several times, but there were 20 other investors. I don't know what that means. I think there's a lot more than 20 other investors, and you got to try a lot more than a couple times. I'm going to try a couple times every hour. You know what I mean? So it's like, and not only that, who says you have to do deals in your market? I wrote the whole book in 2007 about virtual deals investing made easy. You know, you have to get like serious about that. Like, I don't know. Again, a lot of the talk, Victoria, just based on what you're talking to yourself wrong. You know, the conversation is, first of all, having 20 investors is good. That means it's a big market, great opportunities, bigger spreads. Deals might be a little tougher to get, but there's a lot more to make, right? I'm getting a bunch of questions here, so I'm just trying to go here, not trying to be rude. Kendra said, hey, I woke up anxious today too. I'm trying to change that from fear to motivation. How do you keep anxiousness productive mindset? Yeah, listen, so like typically for me, that's a good question, Kendra, and I'll just kind of share what I do. But like for me, there's two things that are happening. Number one, it's usually my anxiety is stemming from the day before. From maybe not feeling productive that day, hanging out with family too much, laying in bed too long, watching too much TV, eating the wrong foods, not pushing myself to my capabilities, what I'm normally used to. So I feel like I'm like playing catch up as soon as I wake up in the morning. So then what I'm doing is I'm trying to get out what I did this morning. I'm telling you what I did this morning. I woke up and immediately grabbed a piece of paper and just started writing thoughts down. That's all I did. I just wrote a bunch of thoughts down. It's not even about collective thoughts, just thoughts. And like, why am I anxious? What am I doing? What am I thinking about? Why am I anxious? What am I like, you know, where's my anxiety coming from? And then all of a sudden I'm trying to then I go out for my walk at 6 o'clock-ish, get up, turn on my headsets and I'm listening to a book, audio book. And then, for about 20 minutes of that, I had to stop because I was getting even more anxious. So I stopped, pulled my headsets off and just listened to the birds chirping and just took a walk and, just try to be very, very present for myself. Listen to the waves, the birds coming in, landing in the water, like all that stuff, just trying to take my mind and ease it. And then say, okay, when I get back, I can only control what I can control. I can control my brain. I can control my actions. I'm going to work hard today. I have a schedule today. I got to get very focused on a lot of big projects. I got to get cleaned up today. So I'm trying to pay attention where this anxiety is coming from. Yesterday, kind of laid around too much. Today, got a lot going on. Tomorrow, a lot going on, so I don't have any like runway for error. So it's like I'm creating anxiety for myself on some of this as well. You just got to be present. You got to be thinking about it, Hey, my first screen, did you say Yes, I do. She makes $18 million a year plus Primo. So again, guys, $1,200. This is a no-brainer. You guys, you're better than that. First of all, you're worth so much more than $1,200. Like, it's so much bigger than that. So, I don't know. Anyways, questions? If not, I'm going to bounce because as you can see, I'm getting anxious just talking to you. Not because I don't want to be here. It's just because I have to be at 14 other places today. Beacon, do we have any questions you're seeing on your side, buddy?
None right now. Someone asked what was the top business book recommendations. I mean, we already kind of covered that. So,
what was the top? Listen, top business books. I mean, there's so many variables. Mike has a great one called Profit First, Fix This Next. Recently, I just had him on the show. Mark's posted something here. Think and Grow. It's all, to me, all this stuff's not about business, it's about mindset. You know what I mean? What was the name of the book you dropped? The last book I just did on April 24th is called Magician vs. Mule. Make sure to get over there and get that. Brain dumping is a great idea to release anxiety. Yes, thank you. Cool. All right, Beacon, we're good, man. I'm good, guys. Thank you guys very much. Hey, if you know more about an athlete or your sporting events or your video games or whatever BS you're into and you're not crushing the game of life, and crushing the game of life is making sure your health and wealth is in alignment and serving you, not you just doing it, but like you got to get in there and get in the ring. But like, just know that you are so much better than that. You can give to the world at such a higher level if you have more money, the higher level if you have more health. You really can do so much greatness if you allow yourself don't fall victim to just accepting $1,200 and thinking it's cool and talking about it. This is a true story, Beacon, and I'll finish with this real quick. As you guys know, in business, there's a lot of loans, PPP, all this stuff that I could gain access to as a business owner. And my accountant immediately, when this happened, they called me and said, hey, let's go attack it and get all this money and do all this. And I said, why? And they're like, well, it's free money. It's kind of like super low interest, this and that. And I'm like, okay, but why? Just because we can doesn't mean we should. Explain to me why we need it, what we're going to do with it and all that, and like what the deal is. And they didn't have a real answer. So I was thinking, I play this game with myself. And I know some guys in business that got money, a lot of money, and they don't need it. I'm like, dude, you already have millions in the bank sitting. What are you going to do with an extra $500,000? Like you can't even deploy the money you have. What are you going to do with another $5? And they're like, well, dude, it's only 3% interest and blah, 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 blah. Like, that's cool. Again, if you have a plan with it, whatever. So as I'm talking to them, I want to be the guy at the party. And this is a true story, I swear on my life. I want to be the guy, I talked to my wife about this as well. I want to be the guy at the party 10 years from now. We're all hanging out and we're all way more successful than we are. And I want to be the only guy that didn't take any money from the situation. I want to be the guy I actually gave. I want to be the only guy in that room that said, you know what? I was a man enough to not accept the money. And just because we can, I want to be the leader saying just because we can doesn't mean we should. And I believe it. I don't just believe it. I live it. And that ain't BS talk. That's real talk. Listen, I could take the money and do something with it and make more money on it. But I feel like here's my other big fear. Picture you're in this meeting. There's 10 people in a circle. Me and 9 other people. I have a lot of money in the bank, and I just pulled $500,000 out of this free tax thing that everyone's doing, whatever, this money situation. And then you have the guy that owned the restaurant, the pizza shop, the lady that owned the sewing store down the street, the company that does the dry cleaning, this and that. These are like the real companies that need the money, right? And I'm like, and they're like, man, yeah, I lost all my employees. I shut down shop. I couldn't get any money. They were all ran out by the time I enrolled and this and that. And I'm sitting there like, well, I got $500,000. I didn't even need it. Would that make you feel good? Would that make you feel good? It would not make me feel good at all. And that's the true story I played in my head. The people, the companies that really need the money, if I stepped in line quickly, because I have a team to do that quickly, I step in line quickly, get the money, $500,000. That's $500,000 that could not be deployed to like local small mom and pop businesses. That meant something to me. That's a big deal. So I didn't inquire. And again, we can say it's infinite amount of money. It's not. There's problems out there. Small businesses do need this money. I get that. I'm not knocking that hustle. But again, now what can we learn from it? These are like, they're learning financial awareness now. But listen, they've put it all on the line to be in this small shop anyways. So, and that's a true story. I really believe, and this ain't a joke. I was talking to a buddy of mine. He did get $500,000. And I'm like, dude, what are you going to do with the money? You have no use. He has zero use. He has millions of dollars in the bank for sure. Zero use for this money. He's like, well, my accountant said I can get it, so why not? It's only 1.8% or 3% or whatever it is. I'm like, yeah, but like, that takes money from the system that small mom and pops could have got, right? Never thought of it that way. Just because we can doesn't mean we should. You know what I mean? So I think us as leaders, we have to really step our game up and not, listen, take advantage of what's going on, but don't take advantage of people. I'm taking advantage of good stock prices, right? I'm buying stocks at 30 to 60 cents on the dollar. And then I'm also looking at real estate opportunities. I'm looking, I want to take advantage of the situation, not the people. And the people in the like stock markets have no emotion. It's a stock market. That's a different story. But if I can buy, a stock that normally trades at $100 for $40, that's where I'm placing. That's where I'm going. You know what I mean? I'm taking advantage of situations, not people. Big difference. Big difference. So again, just tread lightly, pay attention, be conscious of your efforts, and remember, they're watching. They're all watching. And I want to be that guy at the party when my kids are 10 years older and they hear their dad. Everyone's like bragging about how much money they got, and then the small mom and pop's like, well, I went BK, I got a divorce because the financial stress causes a lot of divorces. We know that. All this stuff happened, and I'm like, I didn't take a dime, and I'd love to work with you and do more. Somehow, like, I want them to see, like, I led, not took, and that's a big deal for me. So anyways, just wanted to share with you guys. I hope you have an amazing day. It's Monday. Let's go. Massive anxiety all the way around in a good way, I hope. Use it for fuel, not negative stuff. Appreciate you guys. Have an amazing day. Take it easy.